Hello there and welcome back to my video. In this video I will speak about project SocketChat. This will be the part number 9, and in this I will clean up a code, and I will of course prepare about the messaging should be logged in a Mongo database. I will not take care about the online users in the right corner. As you can see over here, I have 3 online users in my system. I don't care, and if I'm going for this one, you can see I've joined the room, and we still have the users here in the guest 1 and 2 and 4, and it's not counting here, and it's not counting on the lobby. I'll fix this in the next video, in the part number 10, sorry. And so let's begin, and the first I will do is creating the folder here. It's called library. I hope I'm spelling it right. I can just Google it up. And of course I'm not spelling that right, so I will refactor it. I need an R. And inside here I will create a packet file. Where we have it, just a Python file here. We don't need it. Inside here we basically need a configuration so we can have a globally config file. So I'll say config here, and the dir path should be the OS path dir name, and I need to import and then we need the OS path real path to the file, and the config should be config parser, and then we need to import config parser. And we need to tell it to read, and what we want to read should be the dir path and config.ini, and we need to return it. And we need to go back for app, and personal I always have the from in the top, and then I have the import, and then my own libraries I have in the last one. That's only because that's the way I love to have it. And then we have the config here, and we need to create a config file, else we get an error. I will ignore this in the Git, so you will not be able to have this. So when I'm done, I'll of course having a file where it will be config.ini minus sample, and then I will remove my locally configuration, of course, so it's not conflicting with yours. And up here, okay, I'll move the configuration here because I need a secret here. So let's say we have one here to say flask. I will say secret key, going back, secret key, and then we go into very secret. So let's go in here to say config flask very secret. This should not have any errors. Let's go back here to see what happened, and everything here is fine. So now when we know the configuration here is working, then we need one more. We need the Mongo database. So if we have one to say Mongo database connection, and what we want here is which database we want to pick up, and I will say none, and then we need the collection. No, we don't need the collection. We need to say return client. As default, we don't want it, but sometimes it should be nice if you want to return it. And then we say try here, and the client is equal to Mongo client, and of course we want to say import from Mongo, import Mongo client, and pip install Mongo. That's the database we want to use, and then we want to start it up again, and down here we need a host time. So what we say is the configuration we want to put inside should be here. It's none, and we basically say if config is none, then we create the application and type message error and based on that we can I just think we should remove the database, but nah. And then we have the configuration inside, and then we expect we have a host. I'll call it MongoDB, and then a host, and then a port number. Should we need anything else? Not for now. I know you can have an authenticator like the user, the username and password, but I will not introduce this right now. But I think if you're familiar with Python, you can add this at yourself. But of course I will think about that later. And then we have a F host port, and then we should be able to connect for the client, and Mongo database cop is equal to client, the database we want to pick up from this. If database is not none, we should pick this. We haven't else config Mongo database, the database you want to pick up. Is this correct? Return. We need an exception. To host refused. And then we want to print out what's happening and raise system exit. We don't want to continue. And those two here, I want to go down here and continue. If return client is true, return Mongo connection and the client, else return Mongo database none. Then when we return 2 every time, then you can expect it's always have a 2 out, and then you can just say if the client is none, do something else, yes. What's happening here? Lowercase name. Let's call it we'll just rename it here to make it not to cry, and we have it here. And what we want here is the next same MongoDB connection is equal to client, MongoDB client is equal to then the configuration. And we have it from here, and we have it inside the library. So then only thing we need down here, it's our Mongo database, and the host should be, the port should be, and the database should be. And sorry for the small window here. I use Robo 3T, and I don't have any kind of presentation mode here. If you know about a Mongo client GUI where I can show you what's happening, and I can go inside to the presentation mode, then you could make comments below and make a feedback so I know it for the next video. But I have one I have called project SocketChat with the minus between, so project SocketChat, that's what I call my database, and I have a local host and have the default port. I think it's a 20.0.17. I think that's the right port. Let's check. Yeah, that's the right port. And this is the database. So when we connect the database inside here, let's start up again. When you connect to the database here, we will have the right port, so that's correct. I will move it down here because now the magic is happening after we have cleaned up the code. We'll go down here to connect and send message. Should we do it inside here? Yes, here we want to append. And what we want to do here, it's connecting the database, and when we are down here, we will want to close it. And let's put it inside here so we don't need to connect to the database if the message is empty. And now we have the user in the room. So the next the next part we want to do is design how the schema would look inside the Mongo database. So let's design a message. We already have, based on what we know here, the message, but what I really want to do is having some type of the user should be the user, or it should be a system. and then I want to make a type like a normal and a notification, because when we logged in, I don't want this big icon here. What I really want is like a line over the screen where the other users can see, oh, this user is coming online and this user is going offline, something like that. Or now we're changing the room and da-di-da-di-da. So that's what we want to design now. I built it here in JSON, so you have something to see what we want. Let's say we have the user. This could be a system or a user. Then we have a user ID. Right now we use it for this one. Later we will bind it up to a user from a database. So now we can just make it none, or we can make it empty. Let's make it empty. Then we have a type. It could be normal, or it could be notification. And then we have a color, and then we have a message like before. And when we have it in the database, we want to have a credit at, so we know which time the user create this message. So if we need to go back the message, or when we want to display it on the screen, we can say at this time you have typed this. It's very useful if you have a big conversation with your team and you use this software to do it. It's really good to know about. It's 5 minutes later message, or should it be a 10 days old message you should answer. The date time, we want to go up here and import it. And you can see, now it's crashed, sorry. No, it's not. Funny. UTC now is because I really love to work with UTC. So if you have a department in United States, and you have one in Russia, you have one in Denmark, and you want to speak together, then it's very useful to see when it's typed, because Denmark is UTC +1, +2, I think, and I think United States have around 8 time zones, and I'm not 100% sure about Russian because I've not studied this so much, but I know there's a lot of time zone in Russia too. So let's continue and not speak about time zones right now. This is how it should be designed. So what we can do now, it's copy the color and the user and the message, and this one will be kept up right now, and I will just move it up here. And then we need to see about this system or not. So let's see what we hear. It's a client sent message. That's meaning when the client sent the message. We need to go down here, and down here we have pinned. Good. What we really want now is not append this message, it's sending to the database. So going back to the library and create a new file. This file should be message. I don't think I'm spelling this correct. Nope. One more time, we have a spelling error here. I've changed it now, so that's fine. And what we want here, it's creating a function. So we can go up here and import library, say from, library, import message as no message, that's fine. And we can go down to a message here, and we want to say insert. And we need data, so let's copy this so we know what's happening and put it inside here. Import library, that's what we want. And no, we don't need this because we can say the database connection is equal to none, and remove this, the user ID it's equal here, and the user is equal user. And what we want here is normal. The type should be normal because this is the normal users posted inside. Let's keep it in this way so it's easier to read. And then we need a message. It should be a message. We don't need the time because that's how it's working right now. And up here, and for now we can just move this into the message. We need the connection, it's equal to Mongo connection, and now it's broken, I know that. So let's copy this inside here. We need the connection, user, and user ID should be 0, none, and type is normal, and the color is none, message is none. So what we can do here is just remove those. I need this part here, I can remove this. Go back to our application, and now the type and the user is default, so we don't need those anymore. Let's starting up again, and what we can do inside is we have the connection here, and we have the connection, and what we need to push it inside is the message. So let's say message, and want to insert 1, and now we have what we need. The user is equal to the user, and user ID it's equal to the user ID, and then we need the type, should be the type here, sorry, and the color should be the color, and the message should be the message, and created at should be the date time UTC now, and then we can remove this and import date time. Make it easier, say from date time import date time, and then we can remove this. and we have the message here, and we need to pop it out. So this one we don't need anymore. And we need to push the room, a very important detail. We can say user room is equal to the room, and go back to the message and say user room is equal to none. I will put inside here. And I'll put it up here so it's easier. And the next one we want is the get message. Get, and then we have the room, what message we want to take it from, and the limit. Let's say we want to say 5, just for fun. And the room should be from this room when we emit it. This is only when the user is taking it. It's not when the system is changed and everything like that. Then we need the room is equal to none, and the limit is equal to 5. And then we need find user room is equal to, and limit is equal to limit. And of course we need the connections should be equal to none. Going inside to the application here and say the connection is equal to MongoDB connection. And I'll be going back for our chat client here and type a test message here. And going back, you can see here it's sending to the WebSocket server. And if going back to our socket server, you can see it's going wrong here. It's because flask-socketio, it's trying to convert this message to a JSON, and we have an object ID in Mongo, and we have a date time in Mongo. So we need to disable it. So say JSON is equal to false. So now we don't want to send JSON output anymore. So what we're doing here is say we take over and send it as a text. That's meaning we can make a dumps here and here, and we need to scroll up here and say from JSON util import dumps. What we can do this way, it's Mongo working with JSON, and we can here convert the JSON object to a JSON supported format, so we can convert it back again when we're going for the client. So going down here again and see everything is working, and restart the application. And now we can going back here and send a message to say test. And what you can see here, we have a big string of text, and what we're going to do now, it's going for the client and say the message should be JSON and passed. We expect now everything we send back, it should be in a raw text format and should be supported by JSON, so we can convert it back again. So now you can see we have an error here because the only format we have, it's when we push messages like this, and everything down here, and we can say hello world, everything is fine. And now I realize we need to make a sort here. I say sort, and this one, and say ID should be -1, and then I save again. So something's still wrong here, but yeah, you get the point. I think it's my sorting here, so remove this for now. And then it should be okay. I'm going for the database here and remove everything. And VGA, VVV, and yes, but the W should be in the first one, and the A should be the last one. So it should be flipped. But yeah, let's continue working with this so we can have everything is smooth. Going back for the application and scrolling down, and we know we have more to do. Join the chat room and should be emit the message here. We have connections, emit the message. So what we want to do now, it's insert, and the user, this one should be none, and let's binding for this and say the user should be system, and the room should be the leave room, and what we want is the message here should be changed for this, and the color, we want the color to be red. And now we can move this, and we can add it up here, and it should be green. And just join the room, and everything here is fine. Go to room, so that's cool. And we don't need this one. We don't need it, but I think that's fine. Actually we can make the user ID here. Let's keep it this way so we don't crash anything. But it's not true, we really need this one. And the message should be we have those and those, and leave the room, and go to room, leave the room, and remove this. And the only thing we need now is the database closing. So let's clean up here and see what's happening. You're still getting an error. I think it's because we still don't have anything correct. And when the client disconnects, when the client connects, up here we need something. And the lobby should be here. As the user online, that's fine, we don't need this, but we need it down here, so let the connection be before we need it. we need the yellow. Color should be yellow, and the message should be this one, and we want to save the request session ID. And the user is equal to system. And we need this for the room. And we basically need this when we disconnect. And the error here is because we cannot closing a database object. So we need to make a little change in our configuration about the library. So let's quitting the application and go inside here. And we basically want always to return the client, the Mongo connection, and the client. So I'll remove this so it's always want to do it. And then we're going back and say the Mongo client, that's what we want to close. And then we need to see what happened down here. Here we want to close it, and here we want to close it, and here. Let's starting it again and see what's happening. See, everything is running smooth, and we can update it here, and you can see systems come online. We say test, and it should be in the database here. Everything is fine. Let's say test again. We have test and reload. We have system disconnect and connect again. So now this part is working. So we basically just need a little bit in the front end, because you can see we still get some error here. Some errors here we need to fix. So something like the token or in the JSON position 1. So let's fix this error. And the way we want to fix this issue is the front end. So let's go in for the client, and you can see here, this is the line 103. You can see it up here again. See, app view 103. So let's go back to the client. And it's because it's don't know about the message. So let's call it null, sorry. And then say the socket here, because it's too fast to loading it. So we want to return it here, and what we can do now, it's reload it. And you can see everything here is working well. For going for this one, you can see I can chat with myself, and I can change the chat room. So everything now is working, and now the message will be inside the Mongo database. We don't have any time when the message will be created, and we still have issues here with the online people, but that will be in some of the next videos about the project chat here. So thank you for watching this video. I really hope you enjoy, and I hope you want to subscribe my channel in the thing below. And if you have any questions, please make them in the comments fields below, and remember to follow me on the GitHub, where you can download the source code for the project. And hope to see you next time, and thank you so much for watching this video.